Hey everyone, in this lesson we're looking at solving the quadratic equations. So we are going to be looking at how you might solve or find a value, find what x is, using some strategies. In this video we're just going to look at one strategy, in class we'll look at another. So to be successful from this video, we're going to make sure that we solving quadratics using their factorized form, and we're doing what we call the null factor law. All right, so just to recap here, we're taking our monic. It just means that the a in this case is a 1, so we're taking our monic quadratics and we're turning them into these factorized forms. And so we're going to take that and use that to find our x-intercepts. And so that's when y equals 0. So the x-intercept is for different quadratics. So a quadratic is called, its distinct feature is this x squared. So this bit here, it always will create some sort of curve. Whether or not that curve, where it moves in the Cartesian plane, is dependent on the function or the equation, and also how wide it is. So there's a whole lot of things that are covered in there, but that's not really what we're looking for today. We're just looking at solving or using quadratic equations. So here we have it. This one here is x squared. You can see here, this purple one represents this colored here. So you see how there's different changes. And as you move the quadratic functions around the Cartesian plane, depending on what it says in the expression, you'll see that there are different points when they intercept the x-axis or axis. So that's your x-intercept. So in this case here, we can see with this blue one that this here, it's 1 and 2 and a bit, 2.5. So they are the solutions to this quadratic. So if you're getting a bit lost, this is just the physical representation of it. So it's just so that you can see where these come from. But we're going to look at actually how to solve them algebraically. So here's the solving quadratics using the null factor law. So if you have two numbers and you don't know what they are, so a times b, and they equal 0, because that's what we're finding out. Remember, we're looking for when y equals 0, we can find the x. Okay, so a times b equals 0. Now, a or b has to be 0, so, or both. So at least one of these has to be equal to 0 in order for an answer to be 0. Yep. So anything multiplied by 0 gives you 0. Okay, so that is why we use this null factor law. So we can make both equal 0 in order to solve these problems. So that is what we are going to do. So I've got two here that I probably should have probably factorize first, so we could focus primarily on just using the null factor law, but I'll factorize them for you anyway. So here are some things to remember. So the first thing I'm going to do is just write my problem out again. I've got x squared plus 6x plus 8. Now I'm going to factorize this. So my two things are, so they need to add to 6 and multiply to. And so I'm looking for two numbers, and I know that 8 is 2 and 4. They're the ones I'm going to go with. And when you add them together, so positive, positive, I get happy days. So I am going to use those as my factors, x plus 2 and x plus 4. Make sure that the equation equals 0. So I should have done that, but now I can use that. So now both of these are going to equal 0 because of this null factor law. So you rewrite each one as its own separate equation. And what we have here using Starbridge or algebra, so something plus 4 gives us 0. That means that x will equal -4. And the same over here, x equals -2. So then my solutions are, in this case here I've got two solutions. The looking shocking. 2, 0 and -4, 0. So this graph, if we were to graph it, there's -2, -4. We know that, and I know that that's a positive one, so it's going to be a U shape. It's going to look something like this, something like this. I don't know where the turning point is though. That's something for another day. But I know it's going to cut the x-axis at those 2 points here. And all right, B. So writing out my formula, x squared plus 6 minus 7 equals 0. Looking for my factors that can help me out. Again, if you've got other methods that you like to use, by all means go with that. So I'm looking for something that adds to 6 but multiplies to -9. Oh, sorry, -7. Don't know what I'm saying there. So 7's a prime number, so I know I'm going to have 1 and 7. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts on that one because it's a prime number. So, but I do have a +6 and a negative here, so I know there's going to have to be some sort of manipulate positive or negatives. 7 minus 1, there we go, plus 7 minus 1 gives us +6, and that's going to give us our answer. So, or our factors. So it's going to be x minus 1 and x plus 7 equals 0. So splitting them up, x minus 1 equals 0, and then x, so x becomes +1 and x becomes -7. So the x intercepts are 1, 0 and -7, 0. So what you're going to do with that is that you're going to practice your null factor law using, so here they are in all their beautiful glory, and you don't even have to worry about factorizing. So you're going to take those and split them up in there. So question 1, x plus 2, x plus, would help if I actually set it up properly the way that I should be showing you. So you would write it out though in full, equals 0, and then x plus 2 equals 0, x plus 1 equals 0. Don't worry about the brackets here, it's just that I was getting excited. Alright, and then you would solve each one of these for x, and you would do that for the other 5 questions as well. Alright, so that is using the null factor law to solve quadratic equations. Stay awesome. Bye.